Welcome to the module on durability of concrete. In this particular module, which we will be talking about corrosion of steel in concrete. What is corrosion? The term corrosion is defined as an act or a process of gradual wearing away of a metal due to chemical or electrochemical reaction by its surroundings, such that the metal is converted into an oxide, salt, or some other compound. A substance known as rust results from such a process. In other words, the corrosion indicates the deterioration and loss of a material due to chemical attack. Photograph shows the typical color of steel being corroded as shown in the figure. The chloride attack, if you see, the primary action in chloride attack is the corrosion of steel and consequently damage to surrounding concretes. As long as the oxide film on steel is present, the steel remains intact. Chloride ions destroys the film, and in presence of water and oxygen, corrosion occurs. Figure shows how the cathodic and anodic sections are getting actioned in order to create a rust on the steel surface, being a part of FeOH2. Corrosion does not occur in dry or fully submerged concrete, but occurs in alternate wetting and drying and in a relative humidity of 70 to 80%. That means in order to make a corrosion effective in steel, you need two things. One is oxygen and second is air, water. So in presence of water and oxygen only, the corrosion occurs. If you have only oxygen, then also the corrosion will not have any impact. If you are having only water, then also you are not having any impact on corrosion. That is the reason why below the sea water, the steels are not being corroded, and only the splash zone is being treated with anti-corrosive materials, not the complete steel pile in marine conditions. Chlorides can be present in concrete through use of contaminated aggregates, seawater or chlorides in admixture. As per IS 2692015, the total chloride content in cement should not be exceeded by 0.05 and 0.1% by mass of cement for pre-stressed and reinforced concrete. As per IS 456 year 2000, the total chloride content in concrete should not exceed 0.4 and 0.6 kgs per cubic meter for pre-stressed and reinforced or plain concrete containing embedded metals respectively. These are the photographs shown on the condition which gives you an indication of how the corrosion has an impact in terms of the spalling of concrete and exposing the complete reinforcement underneath of a bridge as shown in the photograph. What causes corrosion of steel in concrete? Concrete provides an ideal protective environment to steel from corrosion. Due to high initial alkalinity, an extremely thin passive film of ferric oxide is automatically formed on the surface of the steel. This layer, though extremely thin, effectively protects the steel from the corrosion. So, ferric oxide is acting as a protective layer on top of the reinforcement steel to protect the steel from the corrosion. But unfortunately, this layer is effective as long as the surrounding remains alkaline in nature. Therefore, if we can manage to keep the environment alkaline in nature, the corrosion of the steel can effectively be prevented and the durability of the structure can be enhanced. The alkaline medium can be maintained for a longer period by making the concrete impermeable in nature. So, corrosion is an electrochemical process in which one part of steel becomes anode and the other part becomes cathode. Fortunately, anode reactions can't start till the passive ferric oxide film is destroyed by acidic medium or it is made permeable by the action of the chloride ions. Similarly, the cathode reactions can't start till sufficient supply of oxygen and water is available at the surface of the steel. It can therefore be concluded that corrosion of steel can be prevented if the concrete is sufficiently impermeable so as to keep air, water and other agents out of its reach. Concrete protects embedded steel from corrosion through its highly alkaline nature. The pH environment in concrete, usually greater than 13, causes a passive and non-corroding protective oxide films to form around the steel. The presence of chloride ions from de-icers or seawater can destroy or penetrate this film, leading to corrosion. So once the steel gets corroded, the volume of the steel changes, it expands, and then the cracking and the spalling of the concrete happens. The bond between the concrete and the steel becomes weaker, and ultimately it will look something like this from the bottom if you see a bridge underneath. Volumetric change, as we have discussed, the volume of the final product may be more than 6 times the volume of the original iron, resulting in cracking and spalling of concrete. The cross-sectional area of the steel can also be significantly reduced. So this is the schematic view of how the steel, when it gets in contact with oxygen and water, reacts and forms different forms of ferrous oxide and then ferrous hydroxide by changing its volume to almost 6.5 times. So thus this change in volume of steel creates an internal pressure being inside the concrete, thereby developing a crack on concrete initially and later works out to be as a spalling. Factors affecting a rate of corrosion of steel are water. Water both participates in the cathodic as well as reaction and transports the ions. Oxygen, corrosion is 2 orders of magnitude slower when oxygen is absent. In order to make the corrosion happen, the presence of oxygen is must. pH of concrete, if you see, below a pH of 11, a passive layer of concrete breaks down, allowing chloride ions more rapidly penetrate the concrete. And below a pH of 4, the protective film on the steel completely dissolves, thus exposing the steel fully to corrosion. If you see the temperature, the rate of corrosion for a given concentration of oxygen approximately doubles for every 30 degrees centigrade increase in the temperature. Permeability or diffusivity of concrete, if you see, availability of oxygen at cathode and the availability of oxygen and water at anode are a function of permeability of concrete. Chloride ions acts as a catalyst to the corrosion reactions. Cathode to anode area, when cathode is much larger than anode, localized corrosion proceeds rapidly, leading to spalling of concrete and exposing the steel to the environment. The first bar, which is shown on the extreme left, is having a crack of concrete on the cover face, that is moisture enters through the hairline cracks and the porous area of the concrete. Thus it starts to rust the steel, so we can say that the rusting is initiated in the second stage, and builds up of bulky corrosion products causes disruptive tensile stresses, and then finally pressure causes spalling of concrete or exposure of the steel bars, as you can see, which is evident on the bottom of any slab which is exposed to chlorides or migration of moisture from the cover face due to cracks, and then the change in volume of the reinforcement generating pressure on the concrete, developing a cracking wider and wider, and thus spalling of concrete, finally exposing the reinforcement. The other form of steel to be corroded, if you see, like before corrosion, the concrete block or the concrete section along with the steel should look like something like the figure which is being shown on the extreme left. Then as soon as the corrosion starts, so you can see the red marks on the second picture, which is start building up the corrosion of the product, and as it starts moving further and further on both the directions as well X and Y directions, the cracks are developed, and then finally eventually spalling corroded bars exposed to the reinforcement. So the corrosion cycle of a steel begins with the rust expanding on the surface of the bar and causing cracking near the steel or the concrete interface. As time marches on, the corrosion products builds up and causes more extensive cracking until the concrete breaks away from the bar, and eventually causes spalling, thereby exposing the reinforcement which is being placed at that particular location. So finally, the bridges will be looking like something like this. Initially, the steel bars will be exposed to the atmosphere, and later on slowly it gets corroded more and more, and then the cross-sectional area of the steel becomes lesser and lesser as the time passes. So methods to control the corrosion. To maximize chloride resistance, reduce the permeability by specifying a maximum water cement ratio of 0.4 or less, and at least 7 days of moist curing. Judicious use of one or more supplementary cementitious materials, commonly known as SEM, combined with extended moist curing can effectively reduce the permeability, diffusivity, and electrical conductivity of concrete. Admixtures, aggregates, and mixing water containing chlorides should be avoided. Total acids soluble chloride content should be limited to a maximum of 0.08 and 0.2% by mass of cement for pre-stressed and reinforced concrete according to ACI 201.2R and ACI 222R01. Increasing the concrete cover, the steel also helps slow down the migration of chlorides. Epoxy coated reinforcement steel. Epoxy coated reinforcement steel is also one of the methods to control corrosion. Fusion bonded epoxy coated reinforcement steel is very popular for the construction of marine structures and pavements, bridge decks, and parking areas exposed to de-icer chemicals. The epoxy coating prevents the chloride ions and other corrosive chemicals, moistures, and oxygen from reaching the steel. If the epoxy coating contains pinholes or is damaged during the construction, its production ability is effectively lost. So some corrective measures needs to be taken before placing and finally closing it with the concrete. Fiber reinforced plastic reinforcement is one of the alternates materials which is generally used where the steel bars are more prone or more exposed to corrosion. FRP can be occasionally used to replace part or all of the steel reinforcement in Portland cement concrete exposed to extremely corrosive chemicals. The lightweight, non-magnetic, non-conductive, high-strength bars are chemically resistant to many acid salts and gases and are unaffected by electrochemical attacks. Corrosion inhibitors such as calcium nitrate are used as an admixture to reduce the corrosion. So if you see a figure which is having two steel knives being placed, one in hot water and the other one in a mixture of corrosion inhibitor, that is calcium nitrate, you can see the difference with the passage of time. The color of liquid in one jar has become slightly reddish, whereas the other one is still transparent. That means your corrosion inhibitor is active. So how to limit corrosion? Use good quality concrete, air entrained with a water cement ratio of 0.4 or less. Use minimum concrete cover of 1.5 inches or at least 0.75 inches larger than the nominal maximum size of the coarse aggregate. Increase the minimum cover to 2 inches for de-icing salt exposures and 2.5 inches for marine exposures. Ensure that the concrete is adequately cured. Use fly ash, blast furnace slags or silica fumes, commonly known as supplementary cementitious materials or mineral admixtures, a proven corrosion inhibitor to limit your corrosion of steel in the concrete structures. So to summarize this part 3, we talked about the definition of corrosions. We talked about the factors leading to corrosion of concrete. We talked about the effect of corrosion and the precautions required to control the corrosions, like some of the precautions like use of fiber reinforced or plastic reinforcement, use of corrosion inhibitor, use of epoxy coated reinforcement steel, and having a control on the water cement ratio or increase in the concrete cover will substantially help to reduce the corrosion of steel reinforcement in the structure, thereby increasing the durability of the structure. So in part 4, the next module, we will be covering the sulfate attack in concrete. Till then, thank you. Thank you very much for watching this video.